This is Algebra 1, Lesson 9.3, Factoring Quadratics. So in our last lesson, we talked about factoring a quadratic, and we started with two positives, and we were looking for two numbers that multiply together to give us the third term, and when we add them, we get the second term. And then we changed it, and we said, what if the third term is positive and the second term is negative? Then that means we're multiplying two negatives together. Now we're going to look at what happens when we have both negative terms. So the only way we can multiply two numbers together and get a negative is one of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative. But when we combine like terms, we want to end up with a negative term. That's telling us that the larger value is negative, and then the smaller value is going to be our positive one. Okay, let's start with the 8. We're looking for two numbers to multiply together to give you 8. So I'm going to say 1 times 8, 2 times 4, 3 doesn't go into it evenly, and 4, we're back to 4. So we know it's one of these two. So now we're going to subtract. 4 minus 2 gives us the 2 we're looking for when we combine our like terms. So it looks like this is the one we're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my parentheses, put my x's in, and again this time we're going to have one negative and one positive. So I'm going to go ahead and set up one negative, one positive. Order doesn't matter. And we want our larger value to be the negative. In that case, that's the 4, because when we combine the 4 and the 2 together, we want to end up with a negative 2. And let's go ahead and check it. Let's go back to FOIL and make sure we did it correctly. Our first term is x squared. Our outside is 2x. Our inside is negative 4x. And our last would be negative 4 times positive 2 would give us negative 8. We're going to combine our like terms together. It gives us x squared. 2x minus 4x gives us negative 2x minus 8. And we're back to where we started. So we did it correctly. Let's try it again. So this time we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give you 30. So we start with 1. I have 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 doesn't go into it evenly, 5 times 6, and then we're back to 6 again. So those are our choices. Now we say when we subtract them, we want to get a 7. So 30 minus 1 is 29. That doesn't work. 15 minus 2 is 13. That doesn't work. 10 minus 3 gives us the 7. There it is. That's the one we want. So we're going to set up our parentheses, put our x's in. One has to be negative, one has to be positive, and we want the larger value to be negative. So we're going to make the 10 the negative and the 3 the positive. So when we do outside, inside, we're going to have a negative 10x, a positive 3x, which is going to give us a negative 7x. And there's one more case we haven't talked about. What happens when the last term is negative and the middle term is positive? So again, the only way you can multiply two numbers together and get a negative, one of them has to be negative, one of them has to be positive. And this time when we combine like terms, we want our answer to be a positive number. So this time, the larger value is going to be positive, the smaller value is going to be negative. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give us 18. So I'm going to say 1 times 18, of course, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 doesn't go into it evenly, 5 doesn't go into it evenly, and we're back to 6. So these are our three choices. Now we say when we subtract them, we want to get a positive 7. So 18 minus 1 gives us 17. 9 minus 2, boom, there it is. That's one we're looking for. So I'm going to set up my parentheses. One of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative. It doesn't matter which one you put first. And this time we want the larger value to be positive because when we combine like terms, we want to end up with a positive 7. So our first would be x squared. Our outside would be negative 2x. Our inside in our FOIL would be 9x. And our last would be 9 times negative 2 would give us negative 18. Combine our like terms together. Negative 2, positive 9 gives us positive 7x minus 18. and we're back to where we started. All right, here we go again. This time we're looking for two numbers multiplied together to give us 9. So it's 1 times 9. 2 doesn't go into it evenly. 3 times 3. And that looks about it. So we're looking for two numbers. When we subtract them, we get an 8. So it looks like 9 minus 1 is going to work for us this time. So we're going to set up our parentheses. And again, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. And we want our difference, when we combine our like terms together, we want it to be a positive. So we want our bigger number to be positive. So we're going to make our 9 the positive, we're going to make our 1 the negative, and that's going to guarantee we end up with a positive 8. Please try the practice problems. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.